We are the Nerd Eternal Network.
Beware those who walk without a clan, for they will be your undoing. Pity them, adopt the orphans where you can, but watch them. In them is the bad seed of their sire. Hello, welcome to the Valley by Night, a Vampire the Masquerade chronicle, brought to you by the Diabear Adventuring Company and the Nerd Eternal Network. We'll be using Vampire 5th Edition, the current edition. I'll be your storyteller for the evening, Jason, and with me will be Sarah playing Jolene, Eric playing Samuel, Decca playing Blackjack, and Rap playing Maeve. Our chronicle will be taking place in Huntsville. If you've seen, well, if you're a patron supporter, you may have seen the Session 0 by now. But we'll go back over a little bit of it, just for those who haven't seen it. So like I said, the chronicle is set in Huntsville, Alabama, which is in an area called the Tennessee Valley. The name kind of where the name comes from. Our players make up the Jones Valley Coterie, Jones Valley being an area in Huntsville. Let's go through and introduce our players. We'll start with Sarah. Or introduce our characters, I should say.
I will be playing Jolene. She is a thin blood vampire. Looks kind of like the Dolly Parton namesake. She has the auburn hair, the green eyes. She's pale. Bit of a sass master. She's probably going to be the one whose mouth gets people into trouble.
Alright, Eric.
Well, I am playing Samuel Caldwin, who is... Here's a cat butt. Sorry. Who,
Cat counter.
Yeah, cat counter. It's already starting. Who is an older vampire, an Ancilla, who is of Clan Tremere. And he is a researcher and doctor of blood studies, who is very much into etiquette and all that.
So, you may be the one whose mouth gets you out of trouble that Jolene gets you in.
It's possible, yes.
Alright, Decca.
Decca is playing Blackjack. He's a farmer. Lives in the not too terribly far away from where Samuel and the yuppies live. But he's got a little bit of a... God, that cat is so distracting. Oh, man.
This episode brought to you by cats.
Cats and their butts.
As long as it's not the moving cats, we're fine.
Yes. He is most often at his farm, just kind of like taking care of it a little bit here and there. Loving his... having a great affinity for his livestock, and always having some sort of a bit of some milk, we'll say, to offer out to the local populace.
Delicious, delicious livestock.
And
I'll
Rap.
kill you, Jolene.
Playing Maeve, the gangrel, who kind of lives in basement, but not a basement of sorts, just down underground. Just Kind of by herself a bit, usually. Not really talk her much. Talks more with her, maybe her fist more than whatnot. So, yeah.
All right.
Oh, I almost forgot to say I'm a
Yes. One thing I didn't mean to ask you, Decca,
yes.
is Blackjack's farm within the borders of your domain?
What do you mean?
Is it in the Jones Valley area that y'all are under the direct control of?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's like I remember we discussed it in the session 0 where it's like right there, and then like the rich area is like right up somewhere. Yeah.
Jones Valley in Huntsville was named after the Jones farm, which to this day is still, I believe, the largest urban farm in the country.
Well, there you go. I have
Yep.
a little slice of it.
Yes, you have a little slice of that farmland, or of the farmland in that general area. Our story will begin a little bit before sunset. When the humans, or the Kine, as the kindred call them, are beginning to prepare the suppers, to going to restaurants. Jolene, you have just arrived at work. What was the name of the establishment you worked at?
He works at the House of Waffles
The House of Waffles.
for trademark reasons.
It's just a nice little diner with a blue roof, nothing.
Yeah. Nothing
Just
ominous.
happens to serve a lot of waffles.
It's open 24 hours, which is convenient for shifts.
So I'm assuming you work mostly at night, though, as a thin blood. Well, not all thin bloods, but at least Jolene, I believe, can venture out during the day to at least some degree.
Yes, she can venture out, actually. Pretty much as a human, she would not have any of her vampiric abilities or any thin blood abilities. Her health would be half. She would basically be human.
So it does her no harm, it just makes her a lot more normal.
Yeah.
Which still leaves the opportunity to live a more or less normal life.
Yeah, I mean, she still has to sleep at some point, and she, can't, she can't eat lunch there or anything, but she can work there during the day, do other things during the day, but tries to take most of her shifts in the evening and nights.
Okay. Just one second while I find where I put my notes. Alright. So you've just come on shift. The crowd is starting to pick up. You clearly do a bigger breakfast business than anything, but people come in all times of day. You see a particularly well-dressed fellow come in. Three-piece suit. Looks like he's probably a corporate muckety-muck from somewhere. Not the usual, not unheard of, but not the usual clientele particularly. He sits down just a little bit awkwardly, like maybe this is his first time here. He doesn't look especially happy as he's looking at the menu, but let's see. One of the other ladies working there steps up, takes an order. As she turns and walks away, though, he catches your eye and kind of makes a slight gesture.
Does she recognize him at all?
Do you have any, let's see, I guess politics or city lore? Let me see here.
Let me look. Not Not much as far as like city lore or anything. She was born and raised there. If that means anything.
No, you don't recognize him off the top of your head.
Okay. Just kind of wanders up. Can I get you something, hun?
He goes and adjusts his tie, and when he does that, let's see. You notice he's got a rather large tie clip, and on it is a symbol or a little design that is a sword, kind of one of them Roman-style gladiuses, crossing a scepter. That you recognize. That is the symbol of Clan Ventru.
Big
He goes,
old
just-
smile.
He goes, just a moment of your time. What is Jolene's last name?
Hatcher.
Hatcher. Jolene Hatcher, correct?
Yeah.
I am Robert Logan. I am working as a courier for the Primogen Council. You may have just risen for the evening. And like I
Something
said,
that.
sun's still up.
I have a feeling you aren't here for our mighty fine waffles.
No, though I'll try them while I'm here. You must keep up appearances. But I'm simply here to deliver a message. There was a murder just outside of your domain. It happened sometime last night. The body was discovered this morning. If you've just gotten up, you may not have heard the news yet.
No, I haven't heard anything about it. Anyone in particular that we would all know?
No one important. It was the method of the attack that is causing a little stir. It was clearly one of the kindred, but they did not clean up after themselves at all. They did not seal the wound. It was a particularly vicious attack. The prince and the Primogen are taking necessary steps to cover it up.
Of course.
But we couriers have been sent out to alert everyone in the area.
Of course. Do you need me to pass it on to my fellows, or?
I would make sure they knew. More than likely, they'll be getting a visit from someone as well.
Would imagine so.
But obviously, the sheriff's going to investigate this to find out who caused this breach of the masquerade. But you're all being told, so you may be on alert in case this is someone from outside of the town. If we have a poacher coming through, obviously, if you discover it's a poacher, you or your coterie, the prince would very much like to speak with this individual.
I would definitely imagine so, and I'm sure if any of us find him, we will, or him or her, make sure to bring him to the kind prince's attention.
That would be wonderful. And that's really all he has to say to you. He
So
sits
if you're
there.
gonna If you're gonna get the waffles, get the ones with the pecans. They're delicious. Lots of syrup. Orange juice to wash it all down. Kind of pats the table and walks off.
You hear him, or you hear him call out, ask to add pecans to that. He's not looking super enthused when the food comes in, but once he smells it and you see him start eating, he doesn't seem to have any trouble finishing his meal. And he sits there, he eats, he doesn't say anything else to you, Sits there and has his meal, so nothing appears unusual before he gets up and leaves a decent tip and heads on out. And you continue your shift. Blackjack.
Yuck, yuck.
Now, do you use the farm as your haven, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you sleep in the house, just like in the bedroom with the windows covered up? Are you a little more hidden than that?
I'm sorry, repeat that again. My internet is taking a nosedive.
I said, do you just sleep in a bedroom like a normal person, or are you a little more hidden than that?
A bit more hidden than that. I have like a little, not necessarily. It's like one of those trapdoor deals underneath not underneath the bed, but like just like a classic trapdoor that goes to like a basement type area.
Like a root cellar.
That.
But it's a slightly hidden door.
It's a slightly hit. Yeah. I'm not like taking the time to make it like extremely obscured, but you have to know what you're looking for to look for it.
Yeah. There's
Like
maybe there's a
Kindred
rug.
a rug.
There's a rug thrown over it or something.
Yeah, there's a rug. A Kindred would know what to look for.
It wouldn't necessarily fool anybody that was coming in really searching, but no one's going to casually trip over you.
Yes.
Okay. You rise and shine, or whatever vampires do. There's not a lot of having to pop and stretch as a vampire. You don't really feel fatigue, except when the sun's rising.
It's honestly just a force of habit.
Which brings up, how old was Blackjack?
Let's say this is late 20s.
Let's see here.
Late 20s, like
Yeah, that works.
maybe a month shy of 30.
Okay. And he's been a vampire for how long?
He was embraced in the 70s, I believe we agreed.
Okay, so you're saying he was 20 when you, or
Yeah,
in the
he was-
20
he was
20 to 30 range when he was
late
embraced.
20s.
Okay,
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
you. I got you.
Still looks relatively young.
So what does Blackjack do on an average night when he gets up?
Gets up, checks on the animals. If any of them are particularly like spooked, he'll right away. It's okay. You're fine. It's okay.
You wander out. The cows have. Well, actually, describe your farm.
It's a pretty average looking farmstead. The majority crop that he has mostly like root crops, like carrots and stuff like that.
Potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes, stuff like that. And the animals he has like 3 cows. He has a pig, and then he has like a chicken coop.
Okay.
And both chickens. But it's nothing overtly like this is like a blue ribbon winner or something. It's just something he has a lot of pride in.
Okay. As you wander out, the cows are up around the barn, which is, they usually wander up about dark because they know you're going to get up and you'll be there, and
Yeah.
the cows aren't real bright, but they know when feeding time is. But 2 of them are kind of milling around the door and seem a little nervous.
What's wrong, Bethany? Start walking that way. You good? You good, girl?
As you get to them, like I said, they're a little tense. It's not, they don't appear injured. And, they recognize you. As you glance in the barn where your 3rd cow is, there's a man standing in front of it. He's kind of hunkered down. He's got a hoodie pulled up. He's kind of hunkered down, just staring right into its face.
Can I help you?
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Hi. It's kind of a, it's kind of breaking and entering. How can I help you?
I didn't break anything. Just reminiscing about, the days when I would crave steaks.
Fair enough.
When he turns around, you are confronted by one of the ugliest beings you've ever seen. Most of
Is
his
it-
skin is gray. Think,
Uh-huh.
you ever been to a grocery store and seen like the hamburger meat that's been sitting too long?
Yes, I've worked in that area. Yes.
He's that kind of gray, but like the old hamburger meat, there'll be little bits that are still kind of pink. At a distance, it would look like he had a bad skin condition. In
Do I
addition to
recognize
that,
this obvious Nosferatu?
oh yes, it's obvious Nosferatu. One side of the face is swollen up in a way that almost, not cancerous, but
Bulbous.
kind of, or tumorous. It almost makes it look like one eye is trying to swell shut.
Yeah.
Where the other eye is overly wide and kind of bulged out looking. The teeth don't quite match, You're not sure he can
Like a
completely
crocodile.
could completely shut his mouth. You may have seen this guy before. You don't know him, but he looks familiar. But he turns to you, Blackjack, right?
Yeah.
I'm Deputy Johnson.
Ooh. Aren't we fancy?
He looks down at the kind of ratty hoodie he's wearing. Yeah, I'm real fancy. That's what my clan's known for.
Hey. Fancy comes in all forms, my dude. How can I help you?
I'm just here to deliver a message. So somebody got themselves whacked just right outside your domain. It's a kind, so
Okay.
nobody would be that upset about it. But whoever did it made a bit of a mess. They didn't clean up after themselves. The news reports got a hold of it. The prince and the high muckety mucks are getting it swept under the rug pretty good. But
But they still want us to look into it because we're right here next to it.
well, the sheriff
Well.
and the sheriff and us are of course doing the real investigating. But as it happened right outside your domain, keep an eye out. If it was somebody in your coterie, we'll find out, and they'll be they'll be answering for it. They'll be up on the carpet answering for it or whatever. But
Sure.
but our main concern is that it may be somebody from out of town that hasn't presented themselves to the prince and is coming in here violating the masquerade.
Sure. I mean, we'll do what we can, I guess.
Well, we're just letting everybody in the area know.
This is the somebody has violated a law, and they're gonna put a stake sign next to everybody now.
Well, we're just telling everybody in the area keep your eyes open.
You got it. Can you
if we
stop spooking my cows?
Does it sour the milk? I've heard it sours the milk.
I'd rather not find out. Like we can talk. I know what you guys can do. We can talk without
Do what now?
I said I know how you folk work. We can talk without the whole seeing thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I offend?
You do not offend me. I am not offended. I've seen some. I was in the 70s. So I saw some shit. No, but my cows are not as old as I am. So
Why does a kindred fall
I would-
anyway? I mean, I guess you
Very
could,
good,
you could feed off. Trust me, I'm a nos. I know about feeding off of animals. But the potato
Very good
patch I walked
irrigation.
through getting here,
very good irrigation.
I said, why would they farm? Not how. Anyway.
Yeah. Well.
But anyway, that was all I needed to let you in on.
I appreciate that.
I
What's
got
your
it.
name?
He introduced himself as Deputy Johnson.
Deputy Johnson. I will come to you specifically if I see anything. Some of the higher ups give me the willies sometimes.
Alright, that'd be fine. Assuming you can find me. And then he smiles really big with those jagged teeth and fades from view. The teeth are the last thing that fades out.
I mean, I'm never too far away from a Nosferatu.
He's the Cheshire Cat.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's horrifying.
And just behind you hear... Nope, you never are.
Yeah.
And then you hear a slight
From behind,
squishing
it's
sound.
like-
Like, oh, man. I was so careful walking in here.
What did I tell
You
you?
hear the sound of him trying to wipe his shoe off in the grass.
Rules is written that breaks unseen passage. I'm kidding. Don't look it up.
I don't think it would anyway. As long as he doesn't talk above a whisper, I think it's okay.
Right.
We'll double check it when it ever becomes actually important. So he makes his exit. You carry on.
I have to go in like. Thank you. Go first.
No, you froze up for a second there.
I was just like, thank you, ladies. You're always the ones to know first.
So Samuel, you've risen as early as you could. You know, right at sunset, maybe even just a little bit before.
Yep.
To start getting ready before you'd head out to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
As you were pulling your car out, somebody on the sidewalk raises a hand to you. And you recognize him. His name's Alex. He's a ghoul that works for your Primogen. Bit of a hedge wizard, which a lot of the Tremere ghouls are. People that are already a little bit knowledgeable in magic. You know, the Tremere will take them to, work for them and be potential clan members at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you're pulling your car out, he's on the sidewalk and kind of flags you down. And what was Samuel's
Cool.
last name?
Caldwin.
Caldwin. All right. Oh, no, I've got it written down
He'll-
somewhere. But
He'll put on the emergency brake, put it in park. He'll just step out, stand by the door. May I help you?
oh, yes, Master Caldwin. I've been sent with a message. Some unfortunate news. There was a murder last night, or in the wee hours of the morning, they suspect, just outside the Jones Valley domain. Someone was a very, very sloppy kill, apparently. The
Would
kindred.
that not be a matter for the kind? Oh.
Oh
It
no,
was
it
a
was
draining
yes,
bit.
it was very definitely a kindred kill. They didn't seal the wound. Just left the
That
body
is
laying out where it
sloppy.
could be found. Very sloppy. Sheriff's investigating, but as it was outside your domain, your coterie is being notified, and I believe everyone else, other coteries and individuals in the surrounding area are just everybody's being told to keep an eye out. For poachers, basically.
I see. Well, is this just an informal messaging, or is my coterie being tasked to find them?
I believe you're simply being tasked to guard your domain as you would. You're just being alerted that there may be a problem.
Well, that is
Apparently, there
interesting.
has been another murder like this between here and Arab. Kind of in the no man's land in between, so, the princes of both cities chipped in to kind of help cover it up, so... I haven't been officially told this is rumor mill, but...
Of course. Well, Well, if you mind, please inform the Primogen and the whomever else needs to be told that I will keep a weather eye out within my coteries domain. And if dear Primogen requires any bloodstones, to let me know. And I will see about making one
I
to
will,
potentially track any targets.
I will pass this on. Thank you, sir.
Well, have a good night, Alex.
And
It
you
was
as
good to
well.
see you again.
You as well. And he, steps out of the way.
And they'll just
Let's see. Maeve. Now, you said you were living in or havening in a sort of basement or...
Mm-hmm. Something not really noticeable.
Let me take a quick look at your sheet.
I don't have it fully filled out. I have everything written on paper right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that is not a big deal at all. It's just... So what backgrounds do you have?
I have to look because some are written as... I just wrote them down and didn't even write, like, backgrounds. I mean, I have 1 point in Haven.
Okay. That was really the relevant one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not having any points in it doesn't mean you don't have it. It just means it's extremely, not fancy or anything.
Yeah.
So your haven is basically... trying to think if it would be... I guess it would be a small house that looks abandoned. That you mostly make use of the fact that it's got a cellar. It's still got power run to it, Don't know if you would bother with water. Oh, yeah, I guess Kindred would still want to wash. But, now, generally speaking, a Kindred keeps their haven, somewhat secretive. In Blackjack's case, it's just kind of known that he does the farming thing.
Hide in plain sight.
And Samuel lives in the same area as a lot of the high muckety mucks, so they know within the upper echelons, they all know where he's at.
He's also one of the few Ancilla in the city, I believe.
Actually, most of the Primogen are probably Ancilla.
Oh, yeah. But
You're like the youngest Ancilla in the city.
still, though.
But now Maeve's domain, we're going to assume, is in the domain proper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Something I forgot to do. So every night when the Kindred first wake up, you have to make a rouse check.
I was wondering when you were going to do that.
And there should be at the bottom of your sheet, there is a dice for rouse, or a button for rouse.
Mm-hmm.
And all rouse is you roll a D10, and you're looking for a success. A success is anything 6 or higher.
Yep.
And it looks like everybody failed. No, I'm sorry.
passed.
I'm
What?
sorry. The zeros are 10s. That's right. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Rolled a 1.
So you need to mark a hunger.
Yep.
However, Samuel does have a herd,
Okay.
so at some point during his shift at the hospital, he will make use of that herd to slake 1 point of hunger.
Okay.
And because it is a 2-dot herd, he's able to select the resonance. I can select the resonance of a majority of the herd when I take the point, and it doesn't change. And the resonance type is phlegmatic.
Okay.
So
So,
he is
what sort of people make up your herd?
basically it's the at the time he's worked there, it's the team of nurses basically that he works with. So it's not uncommon at all to see him with them. So he sort of uses that as sort of a hide in plain sight mask for the masquerade, because it's people that he works with
Okay.
to do his like surgeries and stuff.
Okay.
Basically a specialty team that he works well with, and it works out. So
And if somebody finds you with your mouth crammed with an X, clearly it's just the doctor making out with the nurses.
We
Yeah, it could
we
be.
get another
There's
scene.
plenty of
We get
stories.
another
There's plenty of stories about it.
Uh,
So
so
it's
okay.
not outside the
Yeah,
realm of
more-
possibility.
And we'll say the
Yeah.
majority of them live in the Jones Valley area.
Yeah.
So even if you make use of them at the hospital, it's not poaching. You know,
Correct.
The hospital is very close by, but technically outside the domain.
Yeah, and it is his herd. So
Hmm.
it's people he cultivated to bring together.
Yes, it's not you randomly.
Right.
You
But
know,
he is gonna tap of his herd to slake that point of hunger that he got from the rouse failure.
okay. Let's see. Since
Wait, is
it's,
it a failure if it's a 0? Since it's a...
Yeah.
the zeros
If you
count
get-
as 10, just like they do on a dice.
Oh, okay.
If you get a if you roll a 5 or under, you fail in
Mhm.
Vampire the Masquerade.
The
Okay.
one is doing is counting the amount of successes we got. None of us rolled a 1. We all
Do it.
Maeve and I rolled 6, so we're good. The 1 just represents how many successes we got on our check.
Oh, okay. So then.
So
I don't
Maeve and
have
I
the
are
one-
good.
I'm not
If you
familiar with
hover
how the
over it.
sheets work on the.
Hunger success. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought
we're
it was
good.
giving us the number you rolled, but it's just giving the successes. So it's actually quite the opposite.
If you
Yes.
hover over like the number, it'll say like 6.
Yeah, I
5,
see now. I see
1.
now. So actually, it's Maeve and
Okay.
Blackjack.
That succeeded.
Okay.
That succeeded. Yeah, Jolene and Samuel did not. However, I'm going to slake 1 point of hunger.
Yeah.
Because for my herd, it says you can slake your herd rating in hunger each week without a roll.
But that's
And
each
I have a-
week,
I have a-
so not every night. But it's fine for tonight.
Yeah. But so I can, because it's a class 2 herd, I can slake 2 days
Okay.
or 2 nights basically
Without
of
having to make
hunger,
any kind of hunger or any kind of
without having to make
hunting
any
checks,
rolls. Yeah. So I'm gonna take 1 of those for tonight.
Okay. So that means you're still sitting at a hunger of 1, because everybody's going to start at a 1 for the campaign.
Mhm.
Blackjack got a success, so he doesn't get any hunger getting up. Maybe got a success, she doesn't get any hunger you're getting up. And maybe Jolene can get some hunting in once she's finished her shift.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'll figure this shit out later. I'm
Does
gonna-
Jolene have a herd?
She's the thin blood.
Well, you know, I didn't want to, jump to conclusions. Stereotype.
Nah. Nah.
Just look at my cow is hungrier now.
His eyeballing him like, you sure you got 3 cows?
I
Not
will
2?
actually kill you, Jolene.
You're sure? How attached are you to that pig?
I'm pretty sure you could slack 1 hunger without killing a cow. There's a lot of blood in a cow.
I have to double check.
It's not good quality. You'd have
You
to.
can. For larger animals, it's all right. But like, if you try to feed off of a dog or something, it would kill them.
Yeah, the pig and the cow are probably fine, but if she tried to feed on one of my chickens, she'd probably kill it.
Like a pre-sun.
Wow, look, it crumbles
hate
up and
that.
everything.
Wow, I hate all of this.
Just Capri Sun a chicken.
Yep. Pretty much.
Ah.
It even has a straw for the next.
Oh no.
Hey, you're the one that decided to be a farmer, man.
True.
You've already made one cardinal mistake that farmers aren't supposed to make, and you've named your animals.
You've gotten attached to him, man.
Mysteriously, never sent one off to get processed. It's weird how that works.
Well, if you're keeping the cows for milk, then dairy cows is probably a little different.
Yeah, but you theoretically only need a couple dairy cows.
But anyway, back to Maeve.
Yeah.
So Maeve, you wake up. You're not really hungry tonight. I mean, you've got a hunger of one. You've always got a hunger of one. The beast is always ready to eat. Unless it's just taking a life. You can never get rid of that last point of hunger without actually killing a person.
Mm-hmm.
Animals won't just don't do it for that. And so what does Maeve do in an average night?
She actually has a job as a bouncer at a club.
Okay.
Her and her guard dog that she has. Because I have Bond.
So
Yes.
you took the Famulus.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So
Did
is
you
this
take
just
the Enduring Beasts for Fortitude as well?
No, I still kept the other one that I had.
now the Famulus thing?
Mhm.
Is that just a pet you have?
Is that a what?
You said you were taking a dog.
I was looking at the animals in the PDF.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a bat, bear, bird of prey, guard dog, horse, rat, and wolf.
The Famulus is basically a ghouled animal.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get around to. Was it a ghoul something or just a
Yes.
pet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a ghouled animal that she can keep in a ghouled state without having to make any kind of checks because the cost is negligible to maintain it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think ghouling a person requires a little more upkeep.
Yeah, just as long as I have the animal fed 3 times on my blood, it's fine. It won't age or die. Unless, actually killed. It won't die of old age.
Now they sometimes get a little more aggressive when you do that. Not to you, of course, but
Yeah.
but they're very useful as guard animals while you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. So you're at your club, and we'll come up with a club name at some point. Now, do you man the door, or are you inside?
I'm inside.
Okay.
Let's say there is one club here that I think would actually work, considering we're vampires, is Below the Radar.
The
Works for
name
me.
Works.
It is ranked number 3 in the nightlife of Huntsville. So, for bars and clubs.
I'm not actually sure it's one I'd heard of.
Yep, I've been there before.
Yeah, so I'll try to find a picture of it, but not important. I'll research it later.
I just figured it would work, considering
Oh yeah.
we're all about the
Okay.
masquerade.
That area looks familiar at least.
I don't remember if I don't think that's in Jones Valley though. I think that's downtown.
Well, the domains are mostly about hunting rights.
Yeah.
You can wander around the city more or less free. If you're wandering through a random neighborhood in somebody else's domain, the people there the folks in charge there may stop you and want to know what you're doing. But clubs are largely kind of open hunting ground. So anyway, Maeve, you've been walking around. It's a Tuesday night, I believe. Coincidentally. Yes, I said it was the 14th. No, it's a Monday. So not exactly one of the busy nights. Things have been quiet. Of course, it's early in the evening, so nobody's sloppy drunk yet. Nobody's causing any commotion. Not that there's usually much trouble here. It's actually been kind of a boring job, truthfully. They're not nearly as rowdy as you had thought they might be. But in the first hour or so of your shift, a man approaches you, and that happens semi-regularly. But this is a big guy. I don't know how tall Maeve is.
Around 5'6".
Okay, so average height. So this guy if he's not a foot taller than you, he's close to it. He walks up, gets just close enough to be kind of in the personal space a little bit. You're Maeve, right?
What's it to you?
I'm Tony Johnson. I'm one of the sheriff's deputies.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of hear the quote marks when he says sheriff.
And what can I do for you?
Don't know if you've heard the news. There was somebody got themselves deceased over by your coterie, over by your coteries domain. Somebody made a real mess of the dude and didn't clean up after themselves. We're looking into that. I don't guess you'd know anything about it, would you?
No.
He kind of gives you a hard stare for a second. Yeah.
She'll just keep looking at him and then roll her eyes.
But anyway, we're going around. We're letting everybody in the area know we may have a poacher from out of town. Now, me and the boys are looking into it, so, to make sure it ain't somebody local that's, decided to be a dumbass. How long has Maeve lived here in town?
About 5 years.
Okay. You probably recognized Tony. They might not have known his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you probably recognized him on sight.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's probably only been around, in Kindred Society for about 5 years anyway. When the Bruja left the Camarilla, or Camarilla, however you want to pronounce it, most of them left the city or were run out of the city. The sheriff had stayed loyal to the prince, and as a reward, he was allowed to embrace several children. And this guy is one of the ones he embraced because most of his deputies are vampires he created, with a few Nosferatu thrown in to kind of fill out the numbers.
Yeah.
So this guy's Bruja, which is means his big things are being strong, tough. I forget what else they do. And they got a short temper, but eye rolling apparently was not enough to set him off. But he continues, so anyway, we're letting y'all know, keep an eye out, if it's a poacher and y'all see him, take him down if you can. The prince would really like to speak with him.
So bring him in alive if I see him. Okay.
Yeah, if possible. I mean, it depends on how much fight he puts up, of course.
Okay. All right.
But, let's see. And then, having said his piece, he doesn't say goodbye or really any other pleasantries. He turns around and marches back out. One of the other bouncers working there comes over to you. Who was that guy?
Just somebody I know.
Oh, okay. He's a big guy. Does he work like we do?
Something like that.
Oh, okay. Because he just had that bouncer vibe to him.
Yeah, he did something like this a while back.
Let's see. Blackjack.
Yes.
So you finished up around the farm.
Sure.
Because, like I said, it's January, so it's, So I guess the Nosferatu wouldn't have mentioned the potatoes because you wouldn't have any planted right now.
Right. I just said my stuff is mostly like root based.
Yeah. But, so, you take care of the animals. It's kind of the slow time of the year for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you get them packed in the, packed in the barn. There are coyotes in the area, so you don't really want to leave them out in the pasture all night.
Right.
They're not much of a problem in Jones Valley proper, as it's kind of surrounded by the city. But you do have
Still hear the
parks
howls.
and reserves and nature trails. A lot of that mountain, on kind of I guess it'd be the east side of the valley. A lot of that is wooded.
I imagine I still hear like howls and stuff at night or whatever.
Maybe every now and then. And that might just
Yeah.
be dogs that got loose. You can't really be sure.
Yeah.
Lots of deer come down off the mountain, but that's not, an issue.
I would say I have no issue just feeding off a deer if I have to.
Good, they
Comes
deserve
around
it.
page
I've had a deer run off that mountain in front of my car before.
Oh shit.
Well, not in front of my car. It shoulder checked my car, rolled across the hood, and then took off. Basically. I love that car.
It's impressive how they could do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was kind of funny. The tow truck driver's like, I told him, it ran off. And the tow truck driver looks me dead in the eye and goes, I'm going to find it. Okay, good luck with that.
Have fun with that.
I just get this mental image of some guy a block or two over in the neighborhood waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, looking out the window, and dude's just out there cleaning in his yard. Roadkill.
Got this giant Bowie knife just.
But, I digress. But, so, you get the animals packed away for the night. You'll let them out again in the morning right before you go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you ever have anybody come and work any of the farm during the day?
I'd say no. Like I said, I have like a pretty decent irrigation system that's just kind of like automated.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever something sprouts, I pick it at night.
Yeah. You wouldn't have too much trouble working at night.
Yeah. So, I'd say no. It's also one of those things like I don't want anybody else touching my baby except for me.
Jolene goes over there and touches it all the time.
I activate potence.
During the day.
I mean, fair.
He goes over there, leaves a note on his fridge. I was here.
I'm going to kill that thin blood.
Move stuff like 2 inches to the right.
But you move everything 2 inches to the right. Let's see.
Takes the whole damn day. She's committed to it.
Don't you have a job?
Now you keep threatening her, but according to the relationship chart here,
Oh, I respect her. but
you
I'm
think
still
she's
gonna
just
beat the
good
crap out of
folk.
her.
Well, you're a Bruja. You can slap people around without necessarily disliking them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a thin blood. I'm used to this.
That's just sad.
Well, you know,
Wait until you hear her backstory.
her first year of unlife was probably spent mostly hiding, as at that time the prince was still having every thin blood in his domain kind of killed on sight.
Hmm.
And the reason for this is thin bloods are viewed as a sign of the apocalypse, basically. Of Gehenna, the final nights.
I'll also say Blackjack's not necessarily an artist. He's the type that'll be like, well, I mean, if it's gonna come regardless.
Until then, I got potatoes.
Exactly. I've also got potatoes.
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 Let's see here. Crap, I didn't write down the Scourge's name.
Oh no, the Ravenous.
That's right. That's right. I put him in the notes.
Yes, you did.
Over here, not in. Correct. So, yes. Jolene's first year of life would have been spent hiding from
Everything.
basically, but especially from the sheriff and his deputies, who are kind of, you know, like the name implies, they kind of do the investigation, enforcement. And over the last 15 years or so, the position of Scourge has come back into fashion. Most princes would have Scourges back in like the Dark Ages. And really those are just his personal executioners. There's, you know, that's when the investigating had been done, and maybe the sheriff couldn't move against a person for political reasons. Well, the prince could tell the Scourge, you just go take him out. But yeah, about the time you'd been kindred for a year, or been, yeah, thin blood are still counted as kindred. By the time you'd been a kindred for a year, he called off those hunts. And there's a small population of thin blood running around in Huntsville now. They all pretty well keep their heads down, just in case. They're not trusting, and they're still not treated too well. And if one gets murdered, there's some investigation,
Courtesy investigation.
but not a lot, as the sheriff is fairly open in his disagreement with the prince on this issue. You know, not to the point that he publicly argues with him about it. Given that most of his clan defected, he's very big on making sure everybody knows how loyal he is to the Camarilla. But he is not quite a nodist, but I guess you could say he's superstitious. He has stated before that he thinks Huntsville has weathered the Second Inquisition as well as it has because they were killing the Thin Bloods.
Sure, had nothing to do with me punching the crap out of them.
And,
This is Bruja Razor.
so anytime you run into him, he's just staring daggers at you. Some of the deputies do too, but not all of them. Some of them are, you know. The Scourge, who actually killed most of the Thin Blood, the one time you've met him, since that got called off, yeah, he seemed pretty impartial. He,
Just doing my job.
Just
Yeah.
doing his job.
he was actually more polite to you than many of the rest of them.
That's fair.
And he is from a clan, Ravnos. Jolene doesn't know a lot about that clan, other than about 15 years ago, most of them died. It was about the same time that a nuclear device was set off in the Middle East. By parties unknown. It's still a mystery who set it off. It was out in the middle of nowhere, so nobody even knows why somebody would have. The prevailing theory among the kind is that some terrorist group had gotten a hold of one and set it off by mistake. It wasn't a really big one. It wasn't a high yield, But that's probably all Jolene would know about it. But anyway, most of the Ravnos clan died mysteriously around the same time. Don't know how much of the back. Let's see. Samuel would probably know more details. Because that's all about the time the Gehenna War started, which is currently raging in the Middle East. The rumor is that all the progenitor vampires are beginning to wake up and are calling their older members. This has caused a thinning out of the elders elsewhere in the world, which is why people in Scylla. That is why so many in Scylla run cities now. Prior to this, people at that age would have been kind of your middle management types. But they don't hear the call to come to the Middle East. Alright. Enough exposition. So what does Blackjack do once he's finished with the farming for the day?
When he's done, he'll actually just start texting people, which is, he knows is a big no-no, but
Let me go over that right quick.
yeah.
So when the Second Inquisition cropped up, the Camarilla took a very hard anti-technology stance, essentially.
Hmm.
There is to be no communicating of kindred business over text, over the internet. They're convinced that the Second Inquisition, that's part of how they were able to track so many kindred down. So they've gone back to using couriers, in at least one instance, messenger pigeons.
Yes.
Basically going back to the old ways.
I'm gonna send a messenger chicken.
Using a lot of the same methods they used during the original Inquisition back in the Dark Ages.
Hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean you can't have a phone. It doesn't mean you can't have, like, a Facebook account or a Twitter account, though those
Sure.
are kind of frowned on to some degree.
He doesn't have much social media. He just has his phone.
The restriction is no kindred business can be discussed.
He has a Vampire Freak account.
And that is
Yeah,
one thing that
trouble
the Anarchs, the other major political faction, kind of disagrees with them on. The Anarchs just switched over to using burner phones for everything, and
Yeah.
coding your phrases a little bit.
Oh yeah, the vampire equivalent to Thieves' Camp.
But the Anarchs, a lot of the Anarchs are made up of even younger kindred, so.
Mhm.
And mostly of the Gangrel and Bruja clans. When they defected.
So yeah, I should text to Samuel's phone and be like, so where are we meeting? Because he figures everyone else got the same message.
I'll just send a text. My place. I'll ring you in.
And that's what he does. He'll take his little. What kind of vehicle would he drive?
Rides a cow up there.
He rides a cow. No. He probably has like a little shitty Saturn.
Not a pickup truck because he got a farm.
That's true. He would have a pickup truck. That's true. Good point. Yeah.
Or he
he's a-
might have a tractor that he hauls stuff around on the farm. Yeah.
Yes, that is for farm business. He has a truck. I would say he has a truck to like actually make like deliveries and whatnot.
Okay.
So yeah, he would take the truck.
Okay. So all of you get
Oh,
these
like-
texts. I'm assuming
oh,
you're doing
like
this as a group text.
Yeah, I'd be doing it to the group text. It's intentionally innocuous so that someone looking at my phone logs would be like, I mean, what's this? I'm just asking my friends where they want to meet. You don't know what's going on.
Have a weekly D&D game.
Exactly. Every Saturday. So yeah, he would send a text to the group chat, and eventually take his old white Chevy to
The levy.
no. No. We can't afford that song. Stop it. To Samuel's place.
Okay. It's much later in the night now. You know, Samuel's had to do a shift. You know, at the hospital. Not sure when the clubs in Huntsville close.
Usually about 1, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I was,
2 o'clock
I was
usually.
thinking. Thinking at least by 2. But
Two,
On a Monday,
it depends on-
probably on Monday, probably around 1, 2 o'clock,
1:30ish probably.
yeah, Monday especially, they probably don't stay open too late.
maybe
Yeah.
12. Because I know the clubs back where I lived, on the weekday they closed around 12:30, 12:30.
It's January. It's not really a very hopping time.
Yeah,
People don't have money, Christmas just passed, they spent all of it.
you know, sometimes it's cold. Though, I don't think this is January of last year, and last year was pretty mild. But
Yeah.
Yeah, our January here, our low was like 40, 50 degrees maybe.
yeah, I was thinking it was
That
pretty
was
mild.
summer to me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice.
Well, January's get colder than that a lot of times, but last year was a particularly mild one.
Did not kill any of the bugs.
No, it did not. I had ants coming into my house in February.
It's very annoying.
Yes. So anyway, you make your way up to the hill. Samuel lives in the ledges, which if Jones Valley is here, of course there's, hills or mountain or whatever on either side. The western side, up on the top, is where the ledges are. This is the highest point around Huntsville. Or if not the highest point, at least this is the largest mountain in the area. Several of the Primogen live in this area or have some havens in this area. You don't know specifically which houses. I mean, Samuel might, but the Prince and a decent chunk of Clan Ventru has basically like one side of this whole area. It's kind of their personal domain.
They own a whole subdivision by themselves.
And that's kind of, think less subdivision. This is more like a very large gated community. You've got the one way up that's, got a gate at the bottom of the hill.
Mhm.
And it's literally right across the road from y'all's domain. The road
Okay.
separating your domain, the road is the
Yeah.
border of your domain. And this is just
Yeah.
on the other side.
I feel like as my Chevy drives up, all the Ventru in the area immediately stick their nose up. It's an old, busted up Chevy from like the 80s.
Oh Lord, it's the doctor's rejects again. Samuel, as somebody that lives here, you know there's a back way out that cuts through the woods and down into the oh crap, what's the other side of that hill called? Cove, big cove.
I'm looking at the map right now. Hold on.
Just not
Something
on the
like
map,
that.
I don't think.
I know there's lots of coves on the other side of the hill.
What's that? I typically don't go over there, but
Yeah, y'all have a bit of a rivalry with a coterie over on that side.
yep.
The Valley Cove domain. They don't like you. They don't like you at all.
I don't like them. The feeling is mutual.
They take some umbrage with the fact that you've got, well, they're the ones that coined, or, well, they didn't coin the phrase. It was the local harpy probably that coined the phrase, the doctor's rejects. But they've certainly run with that, considering the coterie is made up of two members of the clans that in their words betrayed the Camarilla.
You tell that to the sheriff, buddy.
They seem to be careful not to say it around the sheriff.
It's funny how that works.
And a thin blood. Ugh.
Everybody needs a pet.
The doctor they don't have a whole lot to say about other than to make fun in his, choice of companions. They are... None of them are I will learn these terms eventually.
Insula?
Insilla, thank you.
They're neonates.
Right. Now, a couple of them are reasonably close to your age, Samuel, but not quite. And they are much more kind of your ideal Camarilla. It's a couple of Ventru, a couple of Toreador.
They're all posh as fuck.
And a Malkavian.
Almost all of them are posh as fuck.
Some Malkavians can be kind of posh. This guy dresses okay.
Everyone else picks out his clothes.
You don't know, but you
Jeanette in
suspect.
Chicago.
The same harpy that dubbed y'all the Doctor's Rejects also at one point dubbed these guys the Brat Pack. They're all very entitled. She did that once when they had gotten on her nerves. Most of the time she gets along with them pretty well, actually. And I should note that harpy is not an official position. It's just kind of your top socialite a lot of times. A lot of times it'll be the keeper of Elysium. Elysium being your neutral ground. A lot of times it'll be museums and places. They're in charge of a lot of public gatherings and whatnot. But they can make or break a person's reputation. So, the current harpy doesn't have a lot of nice things to say about most of you. She doesn't tend to dog Samuel out too much. Other than to, criticize the rest of his coterie. Let's see. Oh, yes. So, yes. Once everybody has finished up their shifts, Samuel gets home one by one. Do all of you have vehicles?
Jolene probably just hoofs it.
Maeve drives like a 2008 Toyota.
Okay.
just bare bones vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing too fancy. Well, Samuel has probably got a much fancier car, but it
Samuel
fits
has
in.
like a freaking Rolls Royce or something.
But it
Like a
fits in.
2019.
No, he's more than likely got like a Lexus.
Ooh.
It's got heated seats and leather.
He lives the part of a doctor.
3 points in resources. He is considered rich.
and it forever has that new car smell.
Well, anytime it
Car
stops
smell,
smelling like a new
air
car,
freshener.
he gets the scent put back in.
Yep.
He has like a little.
Yeah.
And like every like couple of months, he'll probably switch his car out. Just cause.
Not every couple of months, just whenever it gets dirty.
Yeah.
Like a
He
little
just,
speck of dirt.
he just has a rotating garage.
Jesus Christ.
No, but he's probably got a nice, like he said, Lexus or something. But now some of the Ventru in the city, they may have a rotating, garage or whatever.
Yeah.
So you all get buzzed up. The security guys let you through. None of them know y'all by name, but they've seen you come visit the doctor several times.
I can hear the eye roll in their voice.
Some of them have that attitude. Some of them don't care. Some of them it's just a job.
Yeah.
Once they get the okay for you to go up, they send you up. They don't care. There's a few of them that always look questioning at you as you go up, though. So you meet at the good doctor's house.
Yeah.
It's a big house, too.
Now, are all the windows covered up?
No. He, like the ones that are in like the rooms that are right next to the outside of the front of the house, they have like normal curtains for appearance, and then behind those curtains they have the ones that block sunlight
Okay.
and close. And the others have like sunlight blocking curtains on them.
So from the outside, nobody would glance at the house and go, "Oh, it's got the windows covered up."
Yeah, no. He just like whenever they were meeting, it'd be in one of the inner rooms of the house.
Now, I had made a joke one time about some of the houses in the area having bomb shelters.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know had somebody I used to game with that was a lawyer that last time, I couldn't think of it about the last time I spoke with him, which had been 15 years ago. Anyway, him and his wife had just bought one from, I guess, one of the last few of the German scientists that got brought over after the war. That was finally retiring, and him and his wife moved to Florida, and they bought his house, and it had one of them big bomb shelters built into it. That it was up on one of the hills around Huntsville. I don't know which one. If you wanted something like that in your haven, that would be doable.
Yeah, it's probably his haven is it's a very large home, like very large home. Then there's a basement that sort of has because he's had time to do this. It's a basement that sort of has like a secret area into it that goes into another room that has a bomb shelter, and that's where he sleeps.
I got you. And yeah, Samuel has been living in Huntsville since the 80s, correct?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's had plenty of time to pimp out his haven.
Mm-hmm. Plenty of time, plenty of resources.
And when you first arrived in the city, other than Clan Ventru, the Tremere were probably the most dominant force here.
Yeah. So it was pretty easy to slip in.
Yeah. And they were in good with the Ventru. Which is not unusual most places, but especially here.
Yep.
In the past, 5 to 7 years. But the Tremere of the city have run up on harder times. The Second Inquisition made an attack, burned the original chantry down. Which reminds me, I've got to get with you about where the chantry's at. I've got 2 locations that you can choose between. I looked up haunted houses in Huntsville, so one of them will be the current chantry, and one of them will have been the one that got burned down.
Gotcha.
So right now, the only Tremere in the city of any age at all are you and the Primogen, Alejandro. And then he has created several childer to kind of start filling the ranks back out.
Yep.
So you've been kind of playing teacher to a lot of rookies the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
I keep going off into these sidebars with background stuff. Anyway, so y'all have met up in Samuel's house. It's quite late by now, so none of the neighbors are necessarily seeing this odd collection of vehicles in front of his house.
Alright, well. Murder kind of happens every day, but now what?
Well, the thing is whoever did this, poacher or no, they were incredibly sloppy in their work.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's entirely possible that it'll happen again.
Yeah.
So what I will need is you all to keep an eye out for that. I will do what work I can with the higher-ups here. I'm more than likely going to be making bloodstones. With you all, let's see. Did they mention where it happened specifically?
I was gonna say, how
each side?
Close to my farm was it?
Yeah.
I don't think any of them did specifically mention it.
No.
Nope.
Not at all.
Let me see here. As I pull up the map.
Also, I know this isn't in that gated community area, but imagine that link I just put in Tuesday night is kind of basically the house.
Oh yes, that's quite nice.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's down in Gurley. That's way off somewhere
Yeah.
else. But yeah, that works very nicely for the house you were describing. Though.
It's not it's not in that community, but that's basically his home. Has a very large library that he has dedicated to research. But... And I had to take the warding circle off of it because I realized that the prerequisite of that is you have to have 3 dots of blood sorcery.
Okay.
To put a warding circle on a home.
Benny, what do you
So I'm
want,
gonna have to
my
wait on
little-
that.
Well, now if you wanted to if you were spending background points on it, you could still have it. It just means you got somebody else in the clan to put the ward on originally.
Okay. Well, I went ahead and changed it out anyway.
No, I mean that's fine. It's just I'm just letting you know it is actually an option.
Salad for the baby.
You're gonna have to move the cat.
I will once I put the salad away.
He wants that salad.
He does, and it's like, no,
Determined.
I will put it in the fridge, and now you can't get it, my little butt. No,
There's
you
nothing
That's when he
little
begins.
about
That's
that
when he
fight.
begins
I should
evolving
just-
thumb, so we can open the refrigerator.
Jack.
You're in the.
Hi.
Oh,
Son
hey,
of a
Jack.
bi- I
Our weekly cameo.
I
we
guess,
did
yeah.
get a cameo.
Why are you meowing, Triller?
I've never met them, but I love them.
Oh, that's right. Jack wasn't playing with us when you came on the scene. That's right.
So did they say where it was, like around the farm, or?
But
Cause like, I would that would have been. I mean, the second thing I would have done is like if it was like anywhere remotely close to the farm, like Blackjack would have been like, "Hey, I'm gonna go look."
So
into
the
this.
farm is kind of in the middle of the domain,
Mhm.
middle-ish.
Yeah.
You know, basically where the northern part of your domain is all that farmland. You know, it looks like it looks like your coterie has a very large domain, but a huge chunk of it, about half of it, is made up of the Jones Valley farm, and that's kind of in and around where Blackjack's farm is. The murder took place, and at this point, nobody told you exactly where the murder took, other than just close to your domain. But you can look up the police report at this point. The messier details of it have been kind of cleaned up, but you know, it's still reported there was a murder there. There was a body found, and it was a little bit south of your domain. The southern border of the Jones Valley domain is Lily Flag Road. Southeast, if that matters. But,
Okay.
and where it butts up against Whitesboro Drive, which for those of you that aren't looking at the map or aren't familiar with the city would be the
I'm looking at it right now.
would be the eastern. Basically, it was like the southeastern corner of your domain, just a little bit on the other side of the border.
Great, somebody got killed by the country club, and now they want to look into it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so much the problem of that. It's that the feeding and the way it was done was a breach of the masquerade. They didn't clean it. They didn't do anything, which is unacceptable because we cannot let the kine know that we exist.
I mean, yeah, but what are we gonna do in the meantime?
Well, for right now, business as usual. It is not anything that happened within our domains, so and I imagine he'd know the laws of the area that the prince put in place, given his specialty with the Camarilla. So would there be a law in place that, like, you police your own domain, but if it's outside your domain, it's technically not your problem?
When it comes to minor things, yes.
Okay.
When it comes to something as big as a Bridge of the Masquerade, yeah, if you see something like that going down, do what cleanup you can. You know, immediately notify kind of your superiors, but...
Well, cleanup is already happening, so that is outside of our theater, so to speak.
Oh,
Right.
I get it. Surgery joke. Heh.
Precisely.
Heh.
For right now, keep your eyes and ears open. Whoever poached the kine might move into our domain, which will make it more our problem. But if this was something minor, I would say leave it be. There will be kindred that poach kine from domains all the time. Some get a little too frisky, some fall to the beast, some go into frenzy. And then we have to fix that. That is natural. We're always having to battle our beasts and its hungers. But one who did such a thing and decided to leave the breach as it was without even cleaning or sealing the wound. That's a problem. Could be a young... If we're lucky, it could be something as a young kindred who just doesn't know any better. In which case, that's something that could be fixed. What?
Nothing. Continue. I'm listening. Continue.
Worst case scenario, it is a much older kindred, a great deal more experienced, and one that has apparently either grown powerful enough or arrogant enough to believe that the masquerade no longer matters. Could be Anarch, could be, well, probably not Sabbat. Although there is a chance, given everything that's happening in Decatur right now. But
Keep my options open. Punch him if I have to. Got it.
Keep him alive if you can.
yes, that is the major thing.
I was told the prince wants to question them. If we can, keep them alive.
It
Yes,
was like
keep him alive.
it was an if thing.
There is no if. Keep them
If.
alive.
It was an if. I heard that.
I
I
was
know.
told
Yeah.
if. So,
No.
we'll see.
And I am saying keep them alive.
I will do my best.
I know this is,
Eddie.
we are a coterie. I technically do not run the coterie. But if you can, do the best you can to keep them alive. Because if this person is working alone, or if they're just a part of a larger group that has yet to be identified, that has not slipped up, turning them in to the prince could earn us boons. And those are always good to have. Yes, I know that is mostly my theater of combat, as it were. I'm not as physically hardy as you all,
Yeah.
but they are useful to have regardless of what theater you operate in. So, if you find them, keep them alive best you can. For these next 3 nights, I'll be working on making bloodstones. Where it comes down to it, I will either furnish them to the prince for his use, or the Primogen's use, or if it's something we need to do, I will furnish one for each of you. You may leave somewhere as necessary to potentially track a target. It's a shot in the dark, but
Worth the
something
shot.
is better than nothing.
Yeah. I suppose.
Did they say anything in the reports about the victim, like any name or anything?
Oh, yes. Not that name, I can't pronounce it.
Sorry, I have a cat wanting to play with my click-clacks.
Did they put any names in here?
All the click-clacks.
All the click packs, all the cats.
Oh, salad.
There he is.
His name was Artie
There.
Edison.
Artie Edison.
Artie Edison.
Did it say like an occupation or anything?
He was a local firefighter, actually.
Well, it's just unfortunate.
Okay.
He was found in his backyard by his wife in that morning. She remembers him getting up through the night and walking out, or and leaving the bedroom. According to the police, or according to what she told the police, that wasn't unusual. He had insomnia sometimes, and he'd go down and he'd watch TV, or he'd go down and get a snack, or he'd sit on the back porch. They had a swing on their back porch, And you know, she went back to sleep, and it's only when she woke up in the morning that she realized he hadn't ever come back. And then when she went down there, she found him, and you know,
Brutally murdered.
yeah, there was it was. From the
Was
Kendrick
it,
point of view, there was a fair amount of waste involved.
Yeah. So it didn't look like an intentional draining. It looked like a frenzy drain, sort of, or a bloody in mechanics standpoint, a bloody critical.
Messy critical.
Messy critical. That's it. That's it. Yes, messy critical.
You don't know if
That
it's quite
cat.
that bad.
Sorry.
Mommy, Mommy cannot keep moving her camera because you and your sister want to get into the video with me.
They are cats. You're not allowed to pay attention to something else.
Yeah, he's like, Mom, I want your click clacks. Can I have your click clacks?
The internet was made for cats.
We just need to make Vinny the familist
There you
for
go.
Maeve.
That's basically it. Like,
Yeah,
or
Cat.
whenever Scully feel like.
cat familiar.
Combat starts. You fling a ghoul cat at somebody.
It's super effective.
Yeah,
I mean,
basically.
I had a cat that attacked my grandmother and put her into the hospital.
Oh
Yeesh.
no.
I mean, she had kittens at the time, so she was already a little weirded out, so.
Critical success.
Well, you know, her grandmother was a commoner, and we all know cats can kill commoners. So.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that one HP will get you.
Yep.
Vinny, what are you doing?
Anyway,
with
to answer
blood?
your question, it's let's see, they wouldn't have crime photos. They mentioned him. They mentioned the victim having suffered several lacerations. Early reports made it out like it's almost like an animal attack. Slightly later, there is a correction on the online article that it was some sort of bladed weapon. To you, that smells like the "we clean this up afterwards" kind of thing.
Yeah.
So reading between the lines, it sounds like he had the wound on his neck. Because when they talked about not cleaning up the wound, you know, when a vampire feeds, basically if you lick the wound afterwards, it seals back up.
Mhm.
So you don't leave a bunch of people with, you know, noticeable scars.
Yeah.
But they didn't seal that up, and apparently the body was cut up, which to you would imply somebody with claws.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Right. While the others are discussing what Samuel has said his piece, he will text Luke Barnes.
okay. I believe that was
Yeah, sure.
that's your buddy, isn't it?
Yeah, the sheriff deputy that he knows.
Let's see.
That he covered up a masquerade breach for.
Oh, that one.
that
I'm
he
sorry.
cleaned up for him.
I was
Yeah.
thinking of the. Let me dig out his names here. Okay, I was thinking of Tyler, but okay, I see.
Mhm. Yeah. He'll text Luke and he'll go, "Busy day?"
Let's see. How does Luke respond? Yeah, boss has got us hopping. What can I do for you?
He'll just reply, "Well, just busy day at work myself. Wanted to just chat. It's a pretty just had a pretty messy procedure. Wanted to just chat, take my mind off it."
Cool. Let's see. Would be a good
which basically is Samuel code for, was this a messy vampire kill or not?
let's see. Yeah, we've been dealing with a bit of a mess here too.
Well, hopefully get that cleaned up quick. Appreciate all you boys do. And girls, for that matter.
Yeah, no problem. If you need to meet up sometimes, let me know.
Got it. Say he'll send with. You know, if you need anything, let me know.
Will do. Have a good one, Doc.
You too, Luke. Okay.
All right.
Then he'll just put the phone away and sigh.
Anything?
Well, sorry, my dog's going nuts in the background there.
Okay.
I just like had to pause and go, what is that terrier going off about? Sorry. He'll just put the phone away, turn to look at him.
Well, early speculation is it is
Likely a kindred that lost themselves to the beast.
That's a dime dozen.
Yes. Like, maybe lost control. From the sounds of things, probably someone who is trained in the Protean discipline. There were claw marks.
Ooh.
So that could be a gangrel or someone who has been trained in the art.
Pain did not work. Blackjack's just picturing Blackjack as he continues talking is just picturing himself with like these big ass claws, just like I got guns now.
But that does narrow the suspects down somewhat. I can do my research as necessary. I have done the best I can to help guide some of you a little bit more in the intricacies of our society. I do expect you to follow them.
I'm not in charge, but I expect you to follow what I'm telling you.
A slight jab towards Jolene's arm.
What?
I saw that eye roll.
Yes, Dad. Do you want me to go talk to the firefighters tomorrow or something? If we work with him, they might know if he had anything hinky going on the side.
Do you know any of them, or do any of them frequent your place of employment?
Probably stop by. If nothing else, I can take some food out there. Food's the great social lubricant. Aside from beer, which I don't think I'm allowed to take to a firefighting place.
Well, it could work. As long as you're not dealing with other kindred.
Unless another thin blood shows up. Ain't got no problem with it during the day.
Firefighter and thin blood, there's a story.
There.
I'll talk with Eddie too and see if he knows of any thin bloods that might have come in. It's another one like me that ain't got nobody. They don't know how to behave.
Punch him in the face.
Very well.
Looks back over at Blackjack like, I heard you starting to say something.
You didn't hear anything.
I heard you talking shit.
I swear.
I'll
Fine.
eat one of your cows if you keep it up.
Alright, kids, stop fighting.
He just pinches the bridge of his nose. How much time do we have until sunrise?
Oh, I figure it's 2 or 2:30. It was probably about 2 when y'all met up, so it's probably 2:30 or so by now.
Still plenty of time in the night.
Especially in winter.
Oh yeah.
True.
Mm-hmm.
The sun doesn't really start rising until about 6, 7 o'clock during winter. Takes a while. Okay. Well, we can do a quick search through the city.
Let's see, I said it was 2:30. So yeah, on Monday, January the 14th, 2019, the sun rose at 6:55 a.m.
Yeah.
in
So,
Hunts. Well, it's in Hartsville, but close enough.
given the time of year, we do have about 3 hours of night left. We can do a quick purview throughout our domain, see if anything comes up. I myself will need to be back about an hour previous so I can work on my rituals.
Fair enough. I mean, I can just check in the surrounding areas by the farm.
You do know that area better than any of us.
Yeah?
Jolene, Maeve, any idea where you two wish to search?
I'll search around where the body was found.
So around the southern end of our domain, then.
Mm-hmm.
Go hunt down Eddie, get some information from him. Would she know if Eddie is a day drinker, too?
She probably would. I have honestly put no thought into it, but I'm gonna say yes, because he's, I wouldn't say the leader of the Thin Bloods or anything like that.
One of
But-
the more respected.
Yeah, he's kind of the older brother to a lot of them. If he hears of a new one in town, he tends to seek them out and kind of give them the lay of the land. And so yeah, he probably would be, because that would make that a lot easier.
I'll go hunt down Eddie, see if he's heard anything.
Okay.
Alright. I'll schmooze around here, see what I can learn through my social channels, and if anything shows up in hospitals.
Okay.
There could be similar reports. Might be able to link something somewhere.
You got it. Alright, well, we got our marching orders, I guess.
Now, you do know, up where you live, there's the Ledges Country Club, which is one of the permanent kind of Elysium sites. And there's almost always somebody there on any given night.
Yeah.
As far as a place you could go easily to do your smoothing.
Yeah, he is going to go check there first.
Go talk to your Blue Bloods, I guess. And I'll not do that.
Alright.
We all break off, I guess.
Okay, so let me make sure I got this right. Jolene is going to go look up one of her buddies, or one of her contacts anyway. Eddie Sims. Samuel is going to go schmooze up some of the higher society kindred over at the Ledges Country Club. Blackjack is going to go investigate around the kind of farm area. You know, his farm, the Jones Valley farm.
Surrounding
Jones
area.
family farm. So, and then Maeve was going to go check out the actual neighborhood the crime took place in. Okay.
I would stop Maeve on the side and just be like, if you see anything, let all of us know. Don't go in by yourself. More important to go as a group than it is to go, half-cocked without knowing what to do.
Don't worry, I know. But if I get attacked first,
Sure, do what you gotta do. I'm just saying.
That's it. Tell the loner clan not to go in alone.
Yeah, exactly. I've been knowing about the gangrel.
The murder wasn't on any coteries hunting ground, correct?
No,
That
this
area isn't claimed.
that little area, that little spot there is not specifically claimed by anybody.
Okay, I just wanted to double check that.
You know, y'all are there. If you look on the map, the Willow Hills Estate, there's a very small, like, 2-person coterie there.
Yeah.
But they don't really call it a coterie at that point. There's a pair that have hunting rights just in that little area. And then across 231 is another coterie, but yeah, that little area was pretty clear. Some cities' domains, butt up against each other. In Huntsville, a lot of times you'll have a block or so of kind of cushion area.
Like, I can't remember it now.
Or areas that it's individual kindred, have, this
Like a
block and
neutral
this
zone.
block. Yeah.
The neutral zone.
It works.
Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Who do we want to start with then? We'll start with Maeve. All right. So you drive out to the neighborhood. Based on the police report, you don't have any trouble finding it. They don't publish the exact address, but they narrow it down enough. And there's still some police tape up that you can see from the road as you're driving by. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, 2:33 by the time you get over there. So there's not a whole lot of traffic, through the neighborhoods. Are you kind of patrolling the neighborhood? Are you gonna get out of the crime scene? What exactly?
I'm just gonna kind of patrol, make it look like I'm walking my dog.
Okay.
That's why I'm out and about at night. Just trying to see if I notice anything, or hear anything, or even
right.
smell anything different.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a German Shepherd.
I figured it'd be one of the big breeds like that. Alright, so you put him on his leash. A leash he could probably snap very easily, but it puts people at ease that they see him on one.
Yeah.
Let's see. So as you're walking around, you don't really spot anything particular. There's 1 or 2 houses that have the lights on, but most all of them, most everything is dark. There's street lights periodically. Some of them are shot, some of them are kind of flickering.
Mm-hmm.
You pass by the house that the actual, like I said, you pass by the one house and you see the police tape up in the back, so that's probably the actual scene. The lights in that house are off. And there is not a car in the driveway.
Do I see any footprints, if it was the backyard or anything where he was killed, in the grass or whatever?
Okay, so you're gonna step back there and give it a look.
Kind of look, because now I know nobody's home. So.
All right, so pull up a character sheet right quick where I can see just a skill list. All right, I know there's an investigate. Is it called? Yes, it's called investigate. All right. So give me a. Let's see. Would it be investigate or awareness? Probably investigate.
I think awareness would be more like being aware of like if someone's sneaking up on you.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, so give me a wits investigation.
So did I just hit the investigation button? The roll?
Uh, hit that and let's see what it does. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with this particular sheet yet,
Okay.
so I don't know if that'll just roll the one dice or if it'll roll.
I hit. Oh, and you said wits?
Yes, and you've got. Let's see.
No.
You made your roll, so you've only got the one hunger, so that should factor in automatically. All right, so you got. Let's see. All right, so you got 2 successes. You got 2 successes on 2 dice. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. That works.
She rolled a 6 and a 2 on the investigation. But the hunger dice.
Oh, it was the hunger dice that came up. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Well, it says 6 plus 2.
Yeah,
so...
the hunger dice still count as part of the pool,
Yes.
Okay.
but like if they roll like a critical success or something like that, then you kind of whatever you do is messy. Like you leave a massive trail, like you go smashing through the fence or something.
Like So a critical success is anytime you roll 2 10s. If your hunger dice is one of those 10s, then that's when you get the messy critical, where you succeed at what you're doing, but you go at it so hard that you wind up causing complications for yourself.
Go at it.
Opening a
Mentally,
door
as
so
it were.
hard.
That I broke
Ripping
it.
off a hint. Yeah. Something like that.
You know,
I mean,
in a case like this, maybe you'd be stomping around the backyard, you know, or you find something, but yeah, or you trip over something, or you make some noise, maybe a neighbor would hear you, or the neighborhood dog
like-
would go off, or something.
Overtly sniffing like a dog.
Yeah.
If your hunger dice comes up a 1 and you have no successes, then that's a critical failure. And, you know, you don't succeed, and bad things happen.
I think in 5e you can expend willpower to force it down.
Yes. You can expend willpower to reroll dice.
You cannot reroll hunger
Up to
dice.
3. Right.
But yes, other than that,
can
you can
reroll
reroll up to 3. Yes.
Learning new system.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how did I do?
All right, so you got a success.
That?
Uh, let's see. I think most of the time. Let's see. That didn't help at all. Try to see if you generally just need the 1 success or if it's 2.
Scully, stop it. Please. Stop messing up
Spoiler:
the couch.
Scully did not stop.
She's staring at me mid, and she goes back.
She's staring. Are you chastising me in front of people?
In front of this Twitch.tv chat?
I will throw my click-clack at the window and see you chase it before I have you continue messing up my couch, kid.
Get her a hair tie. Stat.
No, Vinny
A hair tie
will
is Vinny's thing.
No, it's Scully's too,
Oh, it is?
but it's Scully's too, but she doesn't do it because Vinny will take whatever she's playing with away from her, forcefully.
What a jerk.
He sounds like
Oh.
a jerk.
Scully's playing with this? No, it's mine. And then runs off with it and plays with it. And I'm like, this kid, like, Scully wants to play, but he doesn't allow her to.
Is
And it's
cat.
sad. And it's sad because when we go to bed and Vinny's with us, she's trilling and playing with mouses and hair ties she finds. But she's playing. Vinny's just horrible because he's like, no, I play, not you.
Ah, cats.
Yeah. Maybe.
Okay, so the difficulty was 2 for this, meaning you had to have 2 successes.
Okay.
So you can definitely, you definitely see where there was a struggle back here. It looks like at least a couple of people rolled around on the ground back here. So
Okay, so I just
So
don't
you
see
know, Mr. Edison put up some fight anyway.
Okay, so I just don't see no footprints leaving anywhere.
There's several sets of prints, but the cops have been back here, and you don't have any way really differentiating one set from another.
Okay. And with that, I'll just kind of keep walking and looking and seeing if I can find anything.
And your dog is sniffing around,
Mhm.
He's a ghoul dog, but he's still a dog, so Ooh,
Yeah.
it's the smell of death.
Exactly.
He's wanting to roll around where some of the dried blood is still on the ground.
Do that thing where that goes like half down on the shoulder. It's like, yeah. It's better than a cow pie.
And thanks to Blackjack, he has access to cow pie. All right. Let's go with Jolene. So are you just going to drive out to the sorts of places that you know Eddie hangs out?
She'd probably, since they're both thin bloods, they're probably on the younger end, so she'd probably just call or text and be like, hey, you up?
Always. What you need?
Just give me a call. I got a couple questions for you.
You don't
Or
get
if
a
you wanna
response
meet
to
up
that.
somewhere.
You don't get a response to that, but just a few seconds later, your phone starts to ring.
Just picks it up. It's like, hey, Eddie, hon, you heard anything hopping around here? Heard what happened today?
If you mean that murder down south, yeah, I heard about that. That's over close to your spot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's down near our stomping grounds. Guy was pretty tore up. We're trying to figure out who it is. Or who did it. We know who it is. It was a fireman. But trying to figure out who didn't clean up.
Yeah, I read the news article, and reading between the lines, yeah, it sounded like it was something kind of missing.
Yeah.
I noticed they did a quick correction from animal claws to bladed weapons.
Yeah. You know as well
That's
as
got
I
the
do.
prince written all over it. Well, the prince's wife written all over it.
Yeah. I mean, you hear about new folks coming in pretty often. Any more of our kind come in recently? Maybe someone that doesn't know rules?
Not really. I mean, we had a fella pop up last week, but
It's well behaved.
yeah. So far, I mean, he's new to town. He's not new to our little club.
Yeah.
As far as I know, he's staying up here in the north end, where I'm at. And the majority of thin blood tend to congregate in kind of the northern part of the city. It's close to one of the parks. It's an area that had belonged to Clan Gangrel. It was their domain. And it's really just been kind of sitting there since they defected. The prince has not really doled it out to anybody else.
Yeah.
He uses it some, but so you have a lot of thin bloods and a few of the city's caitiff, and people really just kind of stay on the down low, kind of stay up there. As long as they don't cause any trouble, the sheriff doesn't wander up there too much.
Well, if you hear anything, or hear anyone coming in that might have special talents like that, give me a buzz.
Oh, sure thing.
Okay. I hear anything that might concern any of our kind, especially, I'll give you a buzz too. But
Oh, please do.
right now, business as usual.
Just flinging them waffles, huh?
You know it, hon.
He goes, all right then, I'll sign off of here if that's all you needed.
Yeah, just checking in. Keep
Yeah.
safe.
And I'll ask around to make sure nobody's
Yeah.
gone off the reservation. But
Yeah, I'm gonna go drop by the firefighters tomorrow morning, see if there's anything weird on, their end. But
all right,
yeah, keep safe, and then hangs up. And she'll just send like a quick, note back to everyone else. Nothing from my end.
Well, that's boring.
Blackjack.
Hi.
Hello. So you were just checking. You were driving around the farms or wandering around. Or...
Driving around the farm areas, making sure, like, my area, making sure first and foremost that it's not anywhere like where my farmland is, and making sure, doing a bit of a watch at the same time.
Making sure Jolene's not eating one of the cows.
But yeah, it's mostly just kind of looking around, making sure everything's up to snuff. Going about as far as the farms will take me, within the 2-hour drive. Or I would say, I guess an hour drive and back.
Yeah, it wouldn't take you very long to peruse the farm. Yeah. I mean, granted, you can't drive through most of the farmland because it's
Yeah, I'm just gonna like
private property
look
and
out
stuff.
as I'm.
But yeah, you
just
gotta
looking
do the
out as
outside line.
Yeah.
Roll me a wits awareness.
Hey, I'm actually good at that one.
Yep, Scully butt.
Woo! That's
Okay.
a messy crit. Question mark?
Let's see here.
There's a critical in there, but I also didn't get a hunger success, so I believe.
Yeah.
You rolled a
Miss
1
critical?
on hunger.
Yeah, the roll was a 1, so 3 successes. You don't see anybody prowling around like on foot.
Uh-huh.
But as you're driving along, a car passes you. Let's see.
Are they like speeding?
What road would you be on? Alright, you're on Carl T. Jones. And by next session, I will likely have the map on the Roll20 so I can peg it for y'all to see at least.
For the love of God, please do.
That'd be awesome.
But, basically, you're on the street that more or less separates all the farmland from the rest of your domain. It kind of cuts through the middle of that little neck area, if you will, of
Yeah.
the design.
It's going up towards Airport Road or going down towards down.
You were heading up north.
Okay.
It's a fairly fancy car. Trying to think of something other than a Lexus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very much on par with what you've known.
It's a higher end Toyota.
It's on the upper end. It's something like you could easily see Samuel driving something like this.
Sure.
It's on par with his car.
Okay. It's a Porsche. No.
Mustang.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna do like the kind of like look in, see if I can get a cursory glance of anybody, see if the windows are tinted, that kind of thing.
Actually, one of the windows is down, which is unusual even in a mild January.
Sure.
And somebody's got an arm hung out of it.
Can I make out like features as they're? Because I'm not going very fast. Are they going fast?
They're not going especially fast. I mean, there's a speed limit or whatever. And as you're passing, you're studying them, and they kind of glance over at you. When they look at you, they're kind of like,
Was it?
it's a member of the Brat Pack.
Of course it is. As I noticed that, if we're like actually beefing, it turns into this.
So yeah, you realize just in time to,
Somewhere
but he just
to
keeps
leave
waving
my
behind you.
3 sizes bigger.
Let's see. Well, you know the Rat Pack fairly well on site. It was
Yeah.
their Malkavian member driving.
Sure.
There was somebody else in the car. You didn't catch who that was, but
Fair
you would assume another member.
I'm gonna pretend I'm not tailing them, and then absolutely tail them.
Let's see. If you don't, let's see.
It's one of those things where I'm far enough behind them to where I can see which direction they're going, but I don't have high beams on or anything like that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. High beams, blaring music.
So they basically spend the next hour or so driving around your domain.
Sure. How did I word this? The group chat.
That ain't shady as fuck.
No, it's not at all. And eventually, as they leave the domain, I'll let them pass.
Well, they're going along. Like I said, for about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point on, we'll say Bailey Cove Road, just because it's one of the bigger roads,
Sure.
they just throw a Yui.
They throw a Yui and they're coming towards me.
Yeah, not in the same lane. I mean, they throw a Yui over into the...
Cool.
Yeah.
Pass them again.
The Malk is leaning out. And as y'all pass, he screams, "Bye, BJ!"
You didn't think that nickname.
I'll let that one go for now.
And you hear whoever else is in the car laugh.
Yeah.
And if you turn around to follow them, they just head out to
I imagine they head out and hit the highway or something.
yeah. Well, they hit it's a road called Cecil Ashburn that mountain. It goes up one of the bluffs and down on, and it goes down into the cove area, which is kind of where their domain is. So
Just send an innocuous text to the group chat. I hate brats.
So yeah, you just they were driving around for an hour.
Okay. And then as they leave the domain, I'll go circle back and head towards my farm.
Okay. And Samuel,
Yep.
you were heading over to the country club.
Yep.
You would probably take your car, though it's certainly within walking distance.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on how much time you plan on spending.
Not terribly long. He might just walk.
So you get there. There is a one of the Toreador's ghouls manning the door. He's one of the usual guys here.
What's his name?
You would ask me that.
Sorry.
Really
I'm
silly.
building a codex of people Samuel has met and knows, so I can keep track of it.
You don't know his last name because he's a ghoul, but Dustin. His name is Dustin.
Dustin Toreador.
Yeah. And he opens the door for you. Oh, Doctor, good evening.
Good evening, Dustin. Are you having a good night?
Oh, yes, sir. It's always a good night.
Good. Is anyone else in?
Oh, there
I'm not
are
going to-
there are a few, yes, sir.
Oh, good. I didn't exactly feel like drinking alone tonight, you understand?
Oh yes, completely. It's it's a Monday, so it's not a full night, but there's a few. And with the commotion going on during the day, some of the, I suppose some of the, how would he put it? Most of the Primogen are likely working.
Well, have a good night.
Oh, you as well, sir.
It'll be a short stay. He'll head in to the Elysium.
And I have no idea what this country club looks like on the inside, but anyway. During the winter, during the summer, a lot of stuff would be outdoors. During the winter, they keep it indoors, not because the cold bothers the kindred, but in case somebody passing by should see. It might be odd to have a bunch of people standing out in zero,
Yeah.
in zero or sub-zero temperature.
Mm-hmm.
As you enter, you see the harpy. A woman named Marcy. Toreador. She is the keeper of Elysium for Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
And she's surrounded by members of her clan and a couple of Intru. Nobody particularly high ranking. And she is in the midst of telling some story. She doesn't stop telling the story when she sees you, but she sort of raises her glass to you. Just a quick acknowledgement.
And he'll nod towards her and he'll go order a drink at the Elysium and he'll just step sort of at like the outer ring of the group and he'll just...
Yes, it's wine laced with a fair amount of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not enough to give you, not enough to take care of a hunger particularly, but
Yeah.
enough that you can keep the wine down, basically.
Mhm.
You're there a few minutes, and somebody ambles on over. Derek Blakely, crap, blanked on my clan names for a second there. Let's see, what is Derek?
Bite my tray, Scully.
Clan of Intru. And he's originally from out of town. He lived down in Decatur before it fell. Well, it hasn't completely fallen to the Anarchs, but
Yeah.
he lived down in Decatur before the prince died. And well, a lot of the kindred down there, the surviving Primogen members and stuff down there, are still fighting to take the city. Yeah, he just moved up here. He's fairly young. Still controls some business interests down in Decatur, but they have moved their main office up to Huntsville.
Right.
And you somewhat know him. You have chatted with him before. He's a regular patron of the club.
Okay.
Doctor, what brings you by tonight?
Well, considering the rather unfortunate news I heard today, I felt like having a drink with fellow compatriots. Didn't feel like drinking alone, you understand.
Oh, yes, I absolutely hate drinking alone. And yes, I heard about that commotion. It's a shame that,
Yes.
we've covered it up, of course, but
Of course.
hopefully they'll find whoever did it. Can't have a breach of the masquerade go unpunished.
Very true. My coterie and I are currently doing what we do best within our respective theaters of operation. See if we can't bring anything up to the council's attention, potentially.
Oh yes, you do have a gangrel. I imagine they would be good at tracking.
She is quite good at it, yes.
Have you discovered anything so far?
Well, a few leads, none substantiated, but I'm sure you understand I'd prefer to have something more substantial to present to the council and the prince.
Oh yes. You definitely don't want to go to them with hearsay or unsubstantiated rumor.
Of course. So while there are a few things that have come to my attention, I am looking to narrow them down first. I would understand as a researcher, I prefer to make sure that my hypotheses are firmly grounded.
Well, and if it's some poacher from out of town, it may well be a night or two, or even 3 before he'll be hungry enough to feed again.
It is possible.
And if we're
A
lucky,
full
perhaps
drain
he's
like
just
that.
moving on through.
That would be luck. A full drain like that will slake hunger for a while.
Yes. Let's see, what does he... what do people talk about at country clubs? I can't say
Well-
I've ever actually been to one.
Yeah, I haven't either.
have I.
Samuel will just sort of raise his glass. Is he carrying a glass when he came up?
If not, he got one, because you had stepped up and ordered something, so he'd have stepped up and he'd have gotten something when he stepped up.
Okay.
So I hear that your business ventures have
Managed to move your headquarters here on a permanent basis? Correct?
Yes. Decatur just became unruly, as you well know.
I understand.
I mean, I wish the Primogen down there all the best of luck, but until they can get a firm enough hold for someone to declare praxis, it's just going to be a mess.
Indeed. Things have been a mess as of late, especially with all the calls.
Yeah, thankfully it's some time down the road before I'll have to worry about that.
Yes. Well, to I'll just raise a glass. To fruitful ventures, Derek Blakely.
Let's see. And good and luck in your investigation. And he dings your glass.
And he'll just sort of schmooze around for a little bit.
Okay.
Basically, he'll just be keeping an ear out if there's anybody might know anything. He's probably gonna question the harpy when she's a little bit more free from storytelling.
Yeah. Well, she finishes up her story, and some of them dissipate and start talking to other people. She does eventually wander over to you. Good evening,
Marcy?
Doctor.
A good evening to you as well, Marcy. I hope your storytelling was fruitful tonight.
Oh, they all seem to enjoy my story. But of course, some of them are kiss ups. So.
Yes, well, from what I hear, storytelling is one of the major things for the Toreador.
Well, we have our talents, whether it's storytelling or some tell their stories with paint, sculpture.
Well, a beautiful talent does need to be cultivated. He'll just sort of raise the glass in her direction.
Oh, thank you, dear. You're a flatterer. Though
Are you
with the-
doing well
with the-
tonight?
Oh, quite well. I'm a little surprised to see you here tonight, though. I thought with the commotion so close to your domain that you might be busy.
Well, we all have our strengths. Mine is here in this theater.
Yes, and the rest of your coteries is elsewhere.
I did pick them for a reason.
What was that reason? We've all been wondering.
Well, let us say it helps to have people who can do certain things. He just sort of grins a little bit conspiratorially. So like a slight quirk of the lip.
You should be careful how you phrase that. Some people would go entirely in the wrong direction with it.
Yes, but isn't that half the fun?
You know, in my line of work, that it is. But perhaps I can save you some time if you came up here hoping to find more information. No one here seems to know anything.
Well,
Other than, did you know there had been a previous killing like this?
interesting.
Outside of town. It was somewhere between
Oh,
here
yes.
and Arab.
Yes, one of the sheriff's deputies did mention that. He didn't go into any details. Would you happen to know anything?
Same basic MO. The poor woman was clawed up, and the wound in the neck was not. The bite mark was not sealed up at all.
Well, that is interesting.
From what I gathered, she was not mauled as badly as the man.
Yes. How long ago was this? Like, between the
This
two?
would have been around a week ago, 5 days to a week, something like that.
5 days to a week. So,
The Harpy doesn't have a
about-
specific date.
so around the amount of time it would take for a full drain to kind of wear.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. He'll sort of pause and goes, well, that time frame would account for a full drain. The hunger would start to come back again around then.
So we may have
Yes.
some time before he hunts again around here.
A single loss... That's interesting. A single loss of frenzy, I could understand. Maybe they panicked and left. But 2 of them with the same MO, that is interesting.
Well, if it was someone completely lost to their beast, they would likely be feeding nightly, as that's all the beast cares about.
Indeed. But that they waited until the hunger came back after draining to do it again.
Perhaps it's a young
Could
one.
be.
Perhaps it's someone who doesn't know.
That is my thoughts. That is what I hope it to be. Is
You
a
know-
young one who just doesn't know any better.
You know, claws, of course, make everyone think gangrel.
That it would suggest the protean discipline, yes.
And you know, the gangrel do like to embrace and then just leave their child to defend for themselves for a while.
I'm aware.
That's my personal theory, is that we have some young gangrel childer. What I wonder is, could it be intentional?
Well, it could be.
You know,
And
the gangrel
he'll-
down in Decatur could easily, drive around or move around to drop one off on our south side.
there's a possibility. I'll keep that in mind. And he'll just sort of lean forward towards her a little bit. I was like, Well, an eye for an eye, as it were. Tell you what. One of the reasons why I took one of the members of my coterie in.
Oh, she
Sound
leans forward,
fair?
very interested in this.
One of them is a little bit of a pet project of mine. To see if I can teach the Thin Blood how to better acclimate to be one of us.
So a sort of social experiment.
Precisely.
Oh, that makes a bit of sense. Especially with your academic inclinations.
Well,
I wouldn't get my
It gives me
hopes
something
up. She's like, I would not get my hopes up too high, though.
well. What is the point of a project if there is no challenge?
She goes, as an artist, I understand that line of thought.
He'll sort of tip the glass to her and finish it and... Well, Marcy, as always, it is a lovely evening seeing you. I hope you
yes,
have a good night.
It was a pleasure seeing you, Doctor. Have a good evening.
And
And then
he'll
she
just-
moves. She kind of drifts off to
Well, I'd
somebody
say
else.
before she does, he'll just take the hand, just a brief kiss on her knuckles, and let her go.
She's like, ah, you Englishman.
Always helps to schmooze up to the harpy, just a little bit.
Everyone's a kiss up.
So the night starts to wind down.
I will return to his haven about an hour and a half before sunrise,
Okay.
and I will take three sort of small magnetic stones, put them in a bowl, and I'll start the first night of the craft bloodstone ritual. Since I can, with my attributes, I can attune up to 3 bloodstones.
Okay. I'm just picturing you with like cheap refrigerator magnets. You know, like the little letter number ones, just popping the magnet out and drop it into the bowl.
I was gonna say, please tell me it's the letter ones.
Basically. I mean, they're cheap and easy to get, and you can just take the magnets out. It pretty much unmagnetizes them when this happens. It's basically small magnetic stones about yay big.
Yeah.
That he can put into a bowl. He's going to start the ritual because it takes 3 consecutive nights. But
As he's leaving would be when everyone gets the text of "I hate brats."
what did you do?
Nothing that can't be proven.
That's what I'm afraid of.
And then they'll get a text from Maeve saying, "These kind don't know how to leave areas alone and not trample over things. But the male kind did put up a fight."
Samuel will pause and go, "Please watch what you say over phones."
Joe will just pop in, like, totally ignoring the rest of it. I'm going on a supply run tomorrow. Anyone need anything?
Dog
The
food.
waffle emoji like 4 times.
She'll put the dog emoji and a whole bunch of food next to it.
Just get, like, a list of what everyone needs.
I'm
All right.
fine.
So if no one else has anything to do that night,
No.
dawn comes. Everybody except Jolene is sure to be inside by then. She probably is, but she doesn't panic about it like they do.
Kind of wanders home.
I imagine like she feels like lethargic after
Probably a little
as
bit.
it happens.
I mean, she's been up since the previous evening, too, so...
Mhm.
Yeah.
Between the hunger and just... Probably there's some kind of, like... Not as much as, like, an older vampire trying to force himself to keep up, but just that little bit of, I gotta stay awake. I can't close my eye.
Mhm.
And just goes about doing the shop.
Did anyone teach her how to feed?
Yeah, she's been a thin blood for like 3 or 4 years at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so dawn comes. You have no problems. I'm going to assume Jolene will sleep up in the morning some, and then get up. Where full-blooded vampires have a hard time waking themselves up during the day. They can do it, but it usually takes somebody shaking them. An alarm a lot of times wouldn't be enough. I'm going to assume with a thin blood, an alarm would wake you up, but you're just really not happy about it.
So normal day.
Yeah.
Sleep.
For a lot of people,
The
yes.
7th alarm this week.
There's like so many snooze alarms. Like, you've really got to get up now. You're already late.
I just
You know
kind of
that-
see like the alarm going off and her just smashing it and breaking it and be like, "Damn it! Another
The
one."
No
fourth one
vampires
this week.
during the day.
Oh,
She's basically human during the day. And with life,
Oh, yes.
like,
Jolene was going to do something during the day, I think.
yeah, she was just gonna drop by the. There's probably not that many firehouses around, so would it be easy enough to figure out which one the guy was from? Or would they have put that in there? Or she could, like, check the different Facebook pages for him? Because I assume one of them dying would be...
Poking around on
on their
Facebook, you
social
manage
media.
to find you find a posting that mentions specifically, it's the firehouse posting something about him, kind of doing
Yeah.
what a great guy he was, yada yada yada. So yeah, you're able to figure out without too much trouble where he worked.
Yeah. She would just probably swing by work, grab like a little couple breakfast trays, and take them on out there and prepare to schmooze.
As you're gathering those breakfast trays, the boss asks you, what you gathered so much food up for?
I'm just taking it out to the fireman that lost that guy yesterday. It's a shame, just a little goodwill.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
I thought so too.
Yeah, we'll put that on store expense.
Well, I appreciate it. I'll let him know that you sent it out there on the store's behalf.
No,
A lot of them come in here, so
Yeah, I know we got. So I don't, I never know which firehouse they're from or whatever. But yeah,
yeah, I'll let him know that we brought it on over for him. The store, want to, make sure they're okay. Especially last time that, the newbie set the grease fire and they had to come out and take care of that.
yes, I remember that.
Newbies. Just hoofs it out that way.
I love the irony in that. She's complaining about newbies, and then
She's
Samuel's
at least
over here just like
4.
A small
Samuel,
trickle of
sometime while
blood
he's
down
sleeping.
Samuel.
I hear irony.
The
So-
eyes open for no reason, like,
So you show up at the firehouse. A lot of the guys you see are wearing little black armbands. They've got a big poster board thing out front with a picture of him, and there's some flowers sitting in front of it, and somebody's put a teddy bear down there.
Aw.
And you see some people coming and going. It's like people, people in the neighborhood are coming by and kind of, giving their condolences.
yeah.
IRL, this happens too.
Mhm.
I've watched it.
So yeah, when you come up with 2 big old trays of food, one of them one of the firefighters gets up and comes out and helps you with it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, is this for us? Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I know you guys have probably had a rough couple nights, so we want to
Yeah,
bring something
it's a
out for
shame.
you. Yeah. It was already, wasn't it? He used to come by every now and then.
Oh yeah. Several of us would hit there, especially if we had the night shift.
Yeah.
Go get breakfast before we went home, or meet there for breakfast before we had to come to our shift here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Did they say anything, or I mean, good lord, that's not a good way to go. I mean, you guys do dangerous stuff, but
Yeah,
sounds
no,
like
it's
someone
just
did a real job on it.
some nut job with a knife, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see. Give me let's see. I wouldn't say etiquette.
Persuasion?
Persuasion or subterfuge, either one. Persuasion if you're just directly asking him. Subterfuge if you're kind of hitting around trying to weasel information out of him.
Well, she'd be like, I mean, there wasn't anyone that had anything out for him or anything, or he wasn't in anything. I mean, I know y'all are honorable folks, but there wasn't anything shady going on or not. Oh, persuasion with charisma?
Manipulation. Alright.
3 out of 4 ain't bad.
2d6.
I only missed one on the hunger dice.
So did you roll a total of 2 dice, or...
Yes.
Total of 4, because I had
Oh, because you got 2 hunger dice. Okay, I see now.
2
I see
hunger
now.
dice.
I'll learn how to read this
So I
thing
should have
eventually.
3 out of. Well, it says like dice rolled 2, dice rolled 2.
Alright, so yeah, with 3 successes, he's like, yeah, the police are saying it was somebody with a knife. Apparently down towards Arab, there was somebody else that got stabbed up like that.
Lord, they don't think it's, do they think it's connected or anything?
It's a week apart, so I guess they're kind of waiting for, 3,
Other boot to drop.
one of them. Oh, what was I think he said it was a James Bond quote. I don't remember it from the movie, but something about once is happenstance and twice is coincidence and 3 times is
Yeah.
enemy action or something. So I guess they're going to wait until it happens a 3rd time before they decide there's a pattern.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that it's hit someone, you and the police all here are tight. I mean, y'all deal with the troubles. Hopefully it's just some nut job that's been watching too many Netflix, murder, real crime things.
Yeah. It's usually a fairly quiet neighborhood he's in too.
Yeah. I mean, I got some friends out towards that area, and I mean, they're all a little bit on edge about it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. I mean, granted, it was the middle of the night, but it's a shame when you can't just step out into your backyard without having to worry about
Yeah.
something. Artie he had some trouble sleeping sometimes. In this business, you see some stuff
Yeah, and
because
not
sometimes
just seeing so if y'all are up at all hours too, so imagine that has some part.
But let's see. I think you'd asked him if there was anything weird going on. He goes, he's like, I mean, the usual stuff.
Just already doing arty things.
Yeah, basically, every now and then he'd have some story where him and the wife had a blow up or something, but nothing,
Everyone does that.
nothing major. They're both, hotheads. But
How's she taking it?
oh, not well.
She got family she's staying with? Someone's taking
Yeah,
care of her?
not here in town, but up in Ardmore.
Yeah.
I think on the Alabama side, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but someone's
But
taking care
it's
of
where her folks live. She's up there with her folks, so
her. Yeah, it's
she did
It's where
not
she
want to
needs
be
to
in that
be.
house. The next night.
no one would want to be. That's something terrible happened there. You don't want to be around it.
It's awful early, but we all figure she's probably going to sell that place pretty quick, or try to.
Yeah. No, you won't want to stay there with the memories attached to it.
But
She just kind of pats his arm. You and
And
the
you.
boys eat this. If you need any more, you give us a call.
Oh, we will, and thank you. We really appreciate, really appreciate
Not
the
a
thought,
problem. Not a problem. You take care of us, and we're going to take care of you.
And you head on out. The day passes.
Does all the shopping for everyone.
Yes.
Dog food.
Why does Blackjack want waffles?
Can't even
I can't eat
waffles.
them,
Why
but
does
I
he want
like the
waffles?
smell.
Just gets him like a waffle, like smelling candle.
It's like a buddy of mine was talking just last night about a vegetarian buddy of his, and the guy's girlfriend is vegan. But they were talking about how good bacon smells. They won't eat it, but they're like, but it still smells so good. It's the same thing with Blackjack.
Bacon scented candles are a thing.
It's the same
Never
thing with Blackjack.
smells
He can't eat the food, but he loves the
actual
smell.
bacon.
Go it now.
They never smell as good as actual cooking bacon.
Well,
Yeah, you can only simulate so much of the bacon sizzle.
Yeah.
but
Nah, just take all that bacon grease and mix it in with the wax and just.
Oh, do you want ants? This is how you get ants.
I mean, that's the closest way to get the smell of actual bacon.
ants
Get it
like sugar, but they
pure.
also like fat.
Yes.
Every time you light the candle, you're like little pops.
You can do the wood wick to make it have the pops too.
Yeah.
What is it, Scully?
So anyway, the day passes uneventfully. For most of you, you're unconscious.
Or sleep.
As you get up the next night,
Not to butt in, but it is 8:55.
oh yeah, we're about to wrap up. We'll make the hunger, the rouse checks are getting up.
You gonna make it now?
No, we'll wait till next week. Just start the session
Okay,
off that
cool.
way.
Yeah.
Almost as soon as you get up, Samuel, there's a knock at your door. I mean, you almost get the impression that somebody was standing there. Okay, the sun's down.
I know when these motherfuckers wake up.
Once it's not Jolene.
We don't know that yet.
You open the door. Or,
Yeah, it'll stay on the other side. Who is it?
They rattle off a name that you're not particularly familiar with. I'm here on a official business. He says that a little quieter. Oh, for the
For
Primogen.
whom?
For the Primogen.
Do you have a name?
Wyatt.
Not torturing the storyteller.
Just gonna have to get him in the list of names.
I meant to have one. I forgot to do it today. I've recently come into under the employment of Mrs. Deschler, which is the Ventrue Primogen.
Yeah. Okay.
She told me just as soon as the sun was down to run out here and let you know that one of the kindred was attacked last night.
He'll open the door.
Oh, thank you.
My turn.
Sorry, just precautions.
Quite understandable. Apparently, we're living in dangerous times. And he tells you, there was an attack. With the goings on, a lot of the kindred were out, poking around or patrolling their domains. And a fellow in the Stillwood area, which is just outside your domain, apparently he found somebody or something, and it was a nasty fight by all indications. The man's in you say man, he's in torpor now. He was extremely clawed up and just kind of left where he was laying. Luckily, luckily somebody found him before dawn.
Quite. Do you
he
need
is-
my services?
He's like Kindred. No. I believe the Primogen is seeing to it that he's being fed.
Understood.
It may still be a week before he comes out of torpor, though. But well, it did seem like an escalation, so she wanted you to know.
Understood. Would you mind asking if I might see to the body, given my expertise with humanoid anatomy, kindred, or kine? I might be able to give a better estimate of when he might rise from torpor.
Oh yes, I'll take that. I'll take that message to her right away.
Okay.
Any-
Also, if you wouldn't mind letting her know, ever since the previous night, I am in the process of creating some bloodstones that I will disseminate for use.
He's got a slight blank look on his face, like, what is he talking about? I'll let her know, sir.
She will understand.
And then he runs off, and he's not gone too long, because, she lives in the same area. Before you get a text, Doctor, if you get a chance, please swing by.
Understood. I will be there shortly.
And that's where we'll wrap it for tonight. I hope y'all had fun as we start breaking this new system in. A little less die rolling than some stuff. I mean, there'll be combat occasionally,
Yeah.
but
Well, that's it. I personally, as a player, have always loved this system because it's a lot of roleplay and just social stuff, and I love it. It's not super dice heavy.
now it belongs to
it
an
can be.
older edition of the game, but I do have World of Darkness combat around here,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically where they took, back in the day, White Wolf had done a Street Fighter RPG.
Yeah, I remember that.
And World of Darkness Combat was where they took most of the combat system from that
Mm-hmm.
and integrated it. The idea was more something you'd use in Werewolf or one of the more combat-heavy games, but
Yeah. That's why they have those rules of get everything put together in like one go. For some of them, but Oh.
Blackjack and Maeve have switched places. Weird.
Yeah, that's what happens when Zoom does the thing.
it's the end of the
Like I
night.
said,
I ain't gonna bother to fix it
I
now.
was like, my internet took like it fortunately held up until the last few seconds.
So anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed running. I'll have a better list of names for next time.
Let's put a bunch of name
Have a bunch of
suggestions
first
in
names.
the.
Have a bunch of first names and last
Sorry.
names.
This is me with Vampire the Masquerade. Is I want to know people's names.
What's your name?
Because-
What's your
And being something
sire's
where y'all
name?
are
What's your
stationary in
favorite
one
cookie?
city, yes, we're gonna build up quite a large cast of
Yeah.
what
Like,
would
I-
normally be no-named NPCs.
Well, anytime I play a Vampire the Masquerade setting, I always make what I call a codex, which is every NPC I meet and my interactions with them. So I know how we've interacted, how my character would react to them, etc., etc.
So anyway, so this is the Valley by Night. We'll be doing Vampire probably until at least December. The rest we'll go through the end of the year probably doing it. So I hope everybody watching at home enjoyed. Anybody that comes by and watches later, join us next week.
Hello.
I've been your
YouTube.
storyteller for the evening, Jason, and with me has been Eric playing Samuel. Dicka playing blackjack, despite the fact that the screen says Maeve. Rap playing Maeve. And Sarah playing Jolene. And we will see you next time.
Bye.